Hello everyone, my name is Antonia. Welcome back to Trinitas Communications. On today's episode, we're talking about Valentine, the origin of Valentine, modern day Valentine, and all you need to know about Valentine.
Yeah, actually, Valentine has an origin. If it is actually the same Valentine I'm talking about, that you're talking about also.
I believe it's the same,
Okay, yeah, there is an origin to it.
but I will be glad to hear it.
All right. When we ask the origin of Valentine, there are many things one has to put into consideration here. Who is Valentine? Why is he making the waves? What is so special about Valentine? And this will really help us to know how we celebrate the day. Because if you do not know who Valentine is and what Valentine actually stood for, we might not be standing for the right thing that Valentine stood for. Um, Valentine was actually a Roman Catholic priest, a bishop, who was killed because of his ardent desire and love to wed couples. How did it happen? In the third century, um, it wasn't easy for the Christians at then to practice their faith openly. So Valentine was one of the prominent figures at that point in time. He lived in the time of an emperor, one of the cruel emperors we had at that centuries, in the person of Emperor Aurelius. He gave an instruction that no one should get married. Why? He so much believed that those who are not married, the singles, will do well at the time of war. When they go for war, they will do well. But those who are married, those who are not longer single, many of them will not volunteer to go for war. Of course, when one is married, it wouldn't be easy for you leaving your wife and then children at home to go. So in order to have people who will fight for him, he needed the likes of the young one, the singles, to go for the war. And then he gave the instruction that no one should get married. That was too brutal enough for you to prevent young persons from getting married, those who want to marry. But it didn't go down well with the likes of Bishop Valentine at his time. So what did he do? Instead of hearkening to the requests or the demands of the emperor then, he decided to go against it by wedding couples secretly. Eventually, he was caught doing that. And when he was found doing that, what happened to him? The emperor got him imprisoned. The emperor got him imprisoned and he was taken to cell where he stayed for a long time. And in the course of his stay in the prison, something fantastic happened. And what really happened? The one of the jailers who were there with him had a daughter. And this daughter of the man was actually blind. He became sick all of a sudden and then became blind. But because this man was so fond of Valentine, he wasn't wicked to him. He was taking good care of him, not minding the instruction given to them. So what happened? So one fateful day, the jailer complained to Valentine about the fate, the state of the daughter. And Valentine said, okay, bring her, let me pray for her. And then the man brought the daughter to Valentine. Being a priest, he believed so much in God. He actually prayed for the young girl, and the miracle happened. You know what? She began to see again.
Wow, that's good.
And when this thing happened, the young girl became so fond of Valentine, having healed her, having helped her to regain her sight again. So she was so fond of Valentine. Both of them became friends at that point in time. The love increased in both of them. On the fateful day, when Valentine was to be killed, because once you are caught, definitely you'll be killed. That was the instruction of the emperor. So on the eve of his execution, the young girl was not there. So Valentine decided to leave a note for her so that whenever she comes around, she will read it. He wrote so many things according to the legend to the girl, which we know that could be admonition, advice, telling her how to shape, how to live her life in a good Christian way. At the end of the letter, he ended the letter with a signature, your Val. Telling the girl that, but that's when the girl sees the letter, of course, that will tell her the person who was written the letter, your Val. And when the young girl saw the letter, she read it. And when she saw it, your Val, she knew that the letter was actually coming from Valentine. And the following day, Valentine was killed. And that was the end of the story of Valentine. But then, people did not forget him. The people around him, people began to admire him, his faith, and then allow himself to be killed for this cause. He wasn't the one getting married, but he stood for that and said, let those who want to marry get married. They should be allowed to marry. And that's actually made Valentine became famous at his time. Even after death, people began to revere him, honor him. They just have a very high regard for Valentine. And it continued that way. So that Valentine was actually killed on February 14th. That's the day he was actually killed. So at each year, people gather together to celebrate his remembrance. That this is an apostle of love. This is an apostle of love. So each time they come together, this was the man who gave us faith. This is a man that was able to enable us to get married. If not for him, many of us wouldn't have married at all. So they began to revere him. That day became so sacrosanct to them that every 14th of February, they gathered together to celebrate Valentine. And it became a very prominent day in their life at that point in time. And then it continued that way. Funny enough, at this point in time, Christianity was not yet a state people were not allowed to practice their faith openly. The emperors were persecuting Christians here and there. So you can't just come out openly and say you are a Christian. Even the ones that Valentine wedded, it wasn't open. It was a kind of a secret marriage he was doing for them. Not until the year 313. The emperor then, Emperor Constantine, actually gave an edict ending the long time persecution of Christians. Meaning that at this point in time, if you want to be a Christian, you cannot become a Christian. And that gave the Christian the kind of the audacity to come out openly, freely, and say, okay, now we are now Christians. So from that time, or that year, 313, Christianity became one of the state religions, becoming prominent year by year. And as that was happening, the religion, Christianity, began to sanitize a lot of things that was actually invoked at the time. And one of the practices that was actually invoked was a culture or a feast called the Lupercalia. Lupercalia was actually a Roman festival being celebrated for a goddess. They call it the goddess of fertility. They celebrate that feast also on February 14th also. That was also a coincidence.
Yeah, it is.
And each year, people come together to celebrate it with a lot of nasty things they do about it. What do they do? How do they even celebrate it? Now, this goddess called the Lupercalia had a priest who is in charge of the festival, the feast itself. And the priest is called the Luperci. So on this faithful day, the priest will get some goats, ram, and they slaughter them. They will use the blood from the ram and stain on their forehead. After doing that, they get a foam to wipe it off. And then the celebration will begin. How did they begin the celebration? People always look up to that feast because of a lot of things that come up with it. The young ones will have to come to the city town where they gather for the celebration. And any man, any maid that is actually going for, you must go stark naked. You don't put on anything while you're going for the feast.
That's wild.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And when you go for the feast, you don't go alone. You must come with a lady. So who do you come with? How do you pick the lady you are coming with? It has to be a kind of a random picking. You pick names of ladies. They place their names on the cup. You pick. Whatever name you pick there, that's the kind of person you are coming with. So even ladies themselves also look up to that feast. And everybody was happy seeing it. And on their way going to the festival, the priest will be going around with the skin of the goat that have been slaughtered. When they see them on the way, they're kind of making a kind of chase with them. They get the maid, they wipe them. All is all about fun. But the most honest aspect of it is going to such celebration with ladies naked.
Yeah.
You can imagine the
Yes.
scene such kind of event to be creating.
It's a bit eyesore.
But then at this point in time,
Mm.
Christianity was actually gaining ground in the whole of Italy. So the church was not happy with the feast. So they began to ask themselves, we cannot allow this kind of immoral practice to continue because of a lot of things that go with it. So what do? We must find a way to stop this kind of festival. But stopping it is not that easy. This is a feast that have come to stay, that have been celebrated over the years, for many years. So coming to stop it is like doing something nearly impossible. So what did they say? They had a wise decision. And they said, since this feast bring young ladies and young men together, all in the name of love, and when they get there, they do sort of immoral things. Why not find a way of replacing it with something that is related to it? At this point in time, the memorial of this bishop that was killed for the sake of love also has already gained ground as well. He has already become saint. And each year they had a memorial of it. And they said, what do we do? How do we replace this, the feast or the festival of Lupercalia? And they said, okay, since the first day of St. Valentine was actually linked to lovers' celebration, why not replace it with this? That was how the church had to, before the celebration of St. Valentine, so had to replace the celebration of Lupercalia. And the year, around the 5th century, precisely, I think the year 476 AD, that feast of Lupercalia was kind of taken away on the city, and then being replaced by the celebration of Valentine Day. So that's how the idea or the whole thing of Valentine came up. And that's why when people say we're celebrating Valentine, I just ask myself, what are they celebrating? What do they know about Valentine? So what kind of love are you actually celebrating? Like somebody was asking me the other time, hope you be my Val. I was like, wow, be your Val? How can I become your Val overnight? So if we talk about the celebration of Valentine, we just have to ask ourselves, what did the Valentine stand for? It is that particular cause which he stood for. That's what we must stand for if we are to celebrate Valentine today.
Father, some people, which I very much know, is my generation, most of them don't really know the story about Valentine. So, me personally, after knowing that for that day to be effective, that somebody has to die for what he believed in, I believe that I will start seeing Valentine different like I used to see it before. But most people of this age that didn't know what Valentine is, they will believe that Valentine is I love my girlfriend and she loves me back and I'll give her gifts for loving me. That's what most people believe. That is what, because everywhere now you'll be seeing on my WhatsApp status, Valentine for her, package for him, this and that, portraits, eyelash. So people believe that it is time to tell you that you love me. Yeah, I know. I will gift you for loving me. I believe that if people of this age know that Valentine is a person has to die for that day to be effective till today. I believe that they will start to see Valentine differently. So further, that brings me to my next question. Is what us the Gen Z, most of things that we need to know, and it goes like this: as no, there's no way as the day is going on, the world is evolving. So how best do you think that the Gen Z, even the old, the new, and the unborn should celebrate Valentine for it to be glory to the Almighty, because I believe that the way we're doing it here now, there are some people who tell you that tomorrow now all hotels will be booked, all flights will be booked, because that is what it's more like we are subconsciously going back to that Lupercalia. Yes, yeah, subconsciously we're going back to that day because that's what people these days see it as. You book hotel, you book flights, you do whatever you want. It's between my girlfriend, a boyfriend and the girlfriend, and there's not about God in it. So how do you think that us people that is coming up, us that is here, the old should celebrate Valentine for you to be a clone to the Almighty?
Okay, fine. Um, You have to understand something here. There is a point of convergence here now. At the time of Valentine, what people remembered him for was for love.
Yes.
And when you look at our Gen Zs today, what they talk about or what they feel they're talking about is also love. So now the question we have to ask ourselves is, what kind of love are we talking about? Are we still talking about the same kind of love that Valentine stood for at his time? Is that actually what we are doing? That's the basic question we have to say. And that's why I have always insisted that Valentine Day isn't a time to begin to ask some sort of illogical and irrational question. You see somebody ask the person, will you be my Val? Come on. That's not the day I should be. That's not the day I should become your Val. It's actually a day we celebrate love. If actually love existed between the both of us. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then, two, I've always said it also that Valentine is not a day to begin to mount pressure on people, as many do today. I saw something online the other day. They call it a Valentine list. So you just pick one and mark the one you're buying for me. It's not a day you begin to mount pressure on your friend or your fiancé or whomever you think you are moving on with. You must do it for me. If you don't do it for me, then that's the end of the love. No. You see, I see St. Valentine as another Jesus. See, we might remember something our Lord did, or he said in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verses 13. He said, greater love than this, no man has. Christ stood and died for love of us. And that's actually what Valentine replicated at his time.
Yeah.
He stood and died for the love he was promoting. He died because he was wedding them. He died because he wanted them to get married. He stood for that. And that should tell us that love, the kind of love we are talking about, or the kind of love we should be celebrating at Valentine, should be a love that is sacrificial. It should be a love that is authentic. It should be a love that is real. So if I say that I'm celebrating Valentine, what does that connote for me today? If actually that is the relationship between us, but both of us are lovers, that should be a moment for us to evaluate our love. How sacrificial has this journey been for both of us? What are the values that I've seen in you? Not just to wake up one morning and say, hey, be my Val, you must buy this for me. No. Unfortunately, you see that we have actually gone back to the festival or the feast of Lupercalia, where we actually came out from.
Yeah.
And that's why we must know that Valentine is not a time to commercialize our body. And that's what is happening today. Many persons see it as a kind of a glorification of sex. I give you this, you give me sex back. You see, no matter how crazy the world is going, or no matter how crazy we tend to be, there is something we should never forget. And there is something we should not even do away with. And what is that? Our body still remains the temple of the Holy Spirit. It is clear. That's what St. Paul informed us in 1 Corinthians chapter 16. He said it. Do be aware that this body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So that you don't go out tomorrow, or because today is Valentine, you begin to sell your body to anybody you see. All in the name of what will I give you? What will I give you? What will you give me in return? Okay, I give you a wristwatch. In return, you have to give me my body. I give you iPhone this. In return, you should give me your body. If you don't give me this, then that love is not there. How do you prove you love me? The only way you prove you love me is by giving me yourself, by giving me your body. Come on, that's not love. You are just flowing in the ocean of infatuation. That's not love. And lost. Thank you. So the love we are talking about, like I said, if we are talking about the love that St. Valentine stood for, then we must stand for the love that is real. We must stand for a love that is genuine. We must stand for a love that is authentic. We must stand for a love that is sacrificial. How have I been able to influence you ever since we became friends? What are those positive things you've been able to get from me? What are those positive things you've been able to offer to me if we are friends? So Valentine is all about opening leg and closing legs. It's about celebrating the meaning, the value, the purpose of love. That's what it is. No matter how we want to twist it today, Valentine remains what it is, except there is another Valentine we're talking about. But if we are talking as Saint Valentine, then we should be able to stand for what he stood for at his own time. Why was he killed? For the love. Because he wanted people to get along with love, genuine love. Yeah.
Well, okay, Father, thank you for that wonderful insight. I really appreciate. And another thing I would like to say or put to that is more like the Gen Z. I don't know how they think and believe things. You've said it, yes, and they'll hear it, true. But they might come up with questions like, um, you know, I feel like since he's gifting me something and I don't have anything to give him, why the only thing I have is my body and stuff like that. And some people come up with the fact that, well, the Bible says, "Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So although I'm a Gen Z too, but I can tell you, I don't want to say we kind of crazy up here, but we kind of are because we can just bring in facts that we know that okay, this student matter. We just bring it just to make a whole nonsense point to make sense. You understand? So they'll be like, he gave me this, he gave me iPhone 17. Father, do you know what is iPhone 17? That's 3.something million. And I have to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. you know. So in this situation, how best do we tackle something like this?
That goes back to my saying love is not an exchange of material. Love is not an exchange of material. I give you shoes, you should give me slippers. I give you this, you should give me this. Love has to be an appreciation, an expression of value. We must be appreciative in life.
Yeah.
When someone gives you something, yeah, there should be a gesture of appreciation, but not the way it is today. Come to think of it, many of these people who feel that I'm in love with this person, tomorrow we celebrate love. When you look at them, you begin to ask yourself, are these two people truly in love? Now tell me, the person you are in love with, what value do you share with the person? Has the person been able to influence your life positively ever since this person come into your life?
Well, personally, me, for
I'm not actually evaluating you. This is just a rhetorical question.
yeah,
And this is what everybody should be able to ask and assess
exactly,
his or herself by that.
yeah. What I'm trying to say is that me, if I want to get along with somebody, these are the questions me personally I ask myself because I don't like a relationship or a bond whereby it's based on material things or what my body can offer you. Because I want it in the sense that tomorrow, if I'm not able to give you that which is material or which is body wise that I cannot like that I used to give you that I cannot give you now, how best can we cope? That's based on me personally. I ask myself. Yeah. So when I ask myself that question and when I remove those factors, I will not see you as you are, not because you buy me gift, because you give me this. I would like to see you. What can you offer? Are you responsible? How much do you know your God? That's me for you. But for Gen Z, all I can say is that the question they're asking, you
Let me
press
cut
the
in
button.
here. That is a culture that is driving the Gen Zs today. And the earlier they get to know this, the better for them. And what is that culture? The Gen Zs today, they have this culture of hooking and unhooking. That's what I call it. It's the culture of hooking and unhooking.
Mm.
I see you today, I hook with you because of what you are giving me. The very moment you stop giving me that, I unhook. That's not value. That's not even a way of life.
It's not.
And this is the culture that is driving our Gen Zs today. So the earlier they begin to look for values, and not just being about let's hook. And tomorrow when they demand, when we are no longer meeting up, we unhook. For how long will you continue to unhook? You may end up hooking up with everybody. So this is a mad culture that is actually driving our Gen Zs today. And that's why I keep on telling them, in everything you do in life, look for value. Look for value. Do you understand? You know, a guy can offer you the highest iPhone, iPhone that's in the market today, 17 Pro Max. And when he gives you that, you smile and you laugh at it. I say, wow, this guy loves me. and the next minute he begins to pound on you, beat you up. Do you call that love?
No.
What do you call that?
Well,
And after beating you, he will tell you, get out of my house. And you didn't want to go because they're giving you something. So that's enslavement. Because you are paying back for what he gave you. And for him, he feels that he has right to use you the way he wants. After all, he has given you this or that. And you must pay for whatever he has given you. And that's why I've always told the girls, be careful about the way you receive gifts from people. Sometimes when they give you gifts, the intentions are not pure. There are some strings attached to the whatever gift they're giving you. Somebody buys this for you today, buy this. His siblings, sisters at home, how many phone has he been able to buy for them?
the thing is that some of us Gen Z, we don't really mind. What we say, is he pressing the money?
There you are. He'll press the money, and after pressing the money, he'll press you.
Press your neck.
And press your neck. And he'll press everything about you.
Yeah.
So if you are going on the principle of pressing, just be ready that you'll be pressed and pressed until you are gone. So if that's what you want, you will see it.
Yeah.
And mind you, I was in a campus for Valentine show. Before I started talking tonight, I told them, look, I have not come to discourage you from celebrating Valentine. We are not coming to change it. You have to celebrate it. Nobody will stop you from celebrating love. But what we are saying is that you should just have to understand what Valentine is all about. The spirit that is driving the Valentine celebration. If you get to know the spirit behind it, the purpose, your celebration of it will automatically change. But if you do not understand what Valentine is, how it came about, what the man Valentine actually stood for, you may be standing for something else that is not Valentine. Maybe you may be standing for Adobe time. And also, before you end, you have to know that being a Valentine Day, that's not the only day you celebrate love. Love is something ongoing. It's what to celebrate every day. So let's not just fix all our mind that tomorrow is Valentine, today is Valentine. The love begins tomorrow and ends tomorrow. No, it is something ongoing. The only thing we do tomorrow, we only reflect on the journey of love. Just pause our mind and reflect. How far have I been able to go on the journey of love? The love is something ongoing. So let it not begin tomorrow and end tomorrow. That's to continue flowing. Thank you.
Okay, so in essence, according to what Reverend Father Nobali said, he said that love is a continuum. It's something that is today, tomorrow, and forever. So stay tuned on our next episode. Thank you.